we come to the World Hurdle. Not before time. There's only one place to start, obviously, in this race, which is with the mighty Big Bucks. I mean, give us the latest, first of all, Paul, the routine thing. All the legs still on and all that?
Yeah, he's fine, yeah. He's going to have a school tomorrow morning. He worked well, prep's gone well, very happy with him. No point saying any more. He's in good order.
How good is he? I mean, you've trained some of the best horses of this generation.
But he's probably as good as anything I've ever trained, ability-wise. And I've got no doubt that if he jumped fences as well as he jumped hurdles, he'd probably be favourite for the Gold Cup. You know, ability-wise, he's as good as any of those horses, but he's just got his quirks and he does jump hurdles a lot better. Yeah, saying that, the last time he ran in his chase, he probably would have won the Hennessy, and he beat Albertus running over fences at Aintree. So he didn't have too bad a record over fences, but over hurdles, he's obviously been exceptional.
Just a little sidetrack, just because I'm interested, so I'll indulge myself. You've trained Big Bucks, Masterminded, Quarto Start, some of the best horses, I say, of this generation. At what point do you, as a trainer, realise when you've got a superstar? Can you see it when they walk off the truck? Can you see it when they canter? Or do you see it on the course? When do you know?
Well, I think when I saw him run at Auteuil 1 June, when I was watching at home, and I rang Bromley up and said, why haven't we bought it yet? He just looked outstanding, and he's always been class all the way along the line. He's just got that bit about him, you know. You
missed one. He had to give you a prod.
We've been trying to get the guy to put a price on it, and once that, to be fair, Paul's enthusiasm helped me get an owner to get stuck into it. And to be fair, Andy he didn't take a lot of persuading, but took a little bit of persuading, and he went with us on this one. It was a big leap of faith, but we got it right.
Worked out well. Let's talk about the opposition. Grand Crus, Timeform. What's the gap between them currently, Kieran?
It's £2 as it stands, but I think this is a classic scenario, and we've discussed it before with a horse like Big Bucks, that it's very, very difficult for us to say, well, that's exactly what Big Bucks is capable of. How can you put a ceiling figure on a horse that's won his last 10 starts? He clearly idles in front. He clearly does just enough to go and beat the horse in front of him. So hence exactly why we have the symbol of a plus, where he could well be capable of running a 195. He's just never needed to. But Grand Crus, I mean, that is mustard, that Cleve figure. The time was very, very strong. Nokarabo, who he stuffed, has come out and won a handicap off 148 and won it comfortably off 148. So as a piece of form, Grand Crus is more than entitled to be a proper player in this.
Hold that thought for a moment. This idea, Paul, that these horses who win... I used to ask this of Dun Gwibb's jockey last year when he was beating up, I know, a different type of race, I know, and I'd say to him, how much more is there? He said, probably not much, actually. What you see might be what you get. With Big Bucks, is it wrong, actually, to assume that there's more? He's probably giving us everything he's got, isn't he?
No. If you listen to AP and Ruby, you'd say probably not, because he literally does idle in front and pull himself up. So you'd have to say that. I think my view has always been the better the race, the better he'll be. And I think that's the case. The better, I mean, the less the opposition, the less impressive he'll be, put it that way.
Well, that makes sense, because he seems to win by a similar margin, whoever he races against.
Exactly.
What I'm getting at, I suppose, is it silly to assume that when something pushes him further, he will necessarily find more?
No, it's not, but we don't know that he won't. That's the key thing, isn't it? I mean, obviously, I'm firmly in the...
Tell us about your position on Grand Cru.
I think everyone...
Not in detail, it's
it's not just me. I think pretty much everyone in our office is one we got right. I think one of our lads has everything 100 and upwards near enough on Betfair. Most of us have got 40 plus on him. Mainly, my main bet is in the without market. He was 8s, 7s, 6s. I've had plenty of bad bets at the festival, most of them this year, but he's one that, as long as he finishes second to Big Bucks, I'll be happy enough.
Okay. I was assuming you were lumping on at 7s 2 and stuff like that, but that's not the case. You were way ahead of the curve. Well, how tedious. Let's go on, Andy.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. Some of these previews you go on, I haven't been on one with Tom Scudamore, but been on with someone that's very pally with him, and they said, are you going to be there to be shot at by Big Bucks? Oh, no, he says, Tom. He said, we're going down to Pond House and we're going to study all the videos and we're going to plan a route that we're going to be able to beat Big Bucks. And I thought, oh, and for me, that's manna from heaven. For me, I'm a Big Bucks fan, clearly. And I thought, if you start worrying about one horse and how you're going to beat one horse, Tom Scudamore does not need too much in his head when he goes out to ride it. If he starts having to worry about where Big Bucks and Ruby Walsh is, I think...
What if he wrote some of the instructions?
Well, he may need to, because I tell you what, if he starts trying to think of a plan how he's going to beat the I just can't. I think that is, for me, you might be all right with your betting without big bucks. That might be fine with your bet. But I just think, I was thinking to myself, if they're going to try and be so clever, they'll meet themselves coming back. This horse is a very strong traveller. You have to let the horse do what he does. If he starts trying to rein him back, do this, do that, try and sit on Big Bucks' tail, he'll end up cocking it all up.
Whatever happens, the pressure's on Tom.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone has to think about tactics. Presumably, you just go and do what you want, do you?
Yeah, exactly. You can ride him any way you like. You can drop him in. Now he's a bit more effective. You can ride him as handy as you like. I mean, Newbury, when he won early, he was in front 3 out. It's not so set in stone now. But so that's one advantage. And no disrespect to Tom, because he's a top class jock, but the pressure is on him.
Oh yeah, it's pressure on the team tactically and on Murad's connections as well.
Sorry,
go on.
Grand Crus, they've taken him out before now on ground going to be good ground. They clearly think he's a soft ground horse. That's another negative, I think, for Cheltenham. And the other thing was...
It was good to soft last time, though. Yeah. And both the last 2 runs were good to soft.
It was
in their heads. In their heads, it was good to soft. We know it was good to soft. Okay. In their heads, he may be a soft ground.
Yeah,
but he's won twice.
They were worried about the ground, haven't they? They have been. The other one I'll just throw in there, when Ruby was down at Ditchett, when I was down there with Paul last week, Ruby said at lunchtime, it's not a 2-horse race. I went, what? And he said, 5 for 3 must not be forgotten about. He said, that is a really good horse. Now, there you go, if you want one. I heard it from, Ruby thinks 5 for 3 is a good horse. He has won at the Cheltenham Festival. He's won a tempo race like this. And I tell you what, if they start getting all silly, playing silly things up front, 5 for 3 is just going to go and run his race.
We've been talking about big bucks, we've been talking about Grand Crus, but Anthony's rightly pointed out there are other horses in the race, Johnny. Is there confidence in Ireland that
I've
take this home?
Good bet on 5 for 3 without big bucks at 8 to 1 each way. I think sevens is still available. I always think as a punter, be very wary of putting class in races as 2-horse races, and this is Grand Crus. Quite a lot can go wrong. He's stepping into another ball game here against big bucks, and I think that the stuff about tactics is very interesting. By what Anthony is saying, there could be a case where they'll try to basically tail big bucks, and when big bucks hits the front, he'll wait, and then he'll try to pounce late and see if he's idling. And if all that's gone on in your head in a championship race, I think you're in trouble. 5 for 3 hasn't really had the chance to show how good he is. He's a Grade 1 winner over 3 miles. His comeback run on heavy ground over 2 was very good. It assured us that all the ability is there. It's for me. I think he could go very close to at least coming first without big bucks. I think he's better than Morad. I don't think Morad is in this class. I think he won a boat race the last day, mare that doesn't even want to run with second. And Zaynar couldn't be having him. But I do think 5 for 3 is a player. I think this race has been saved. Paul mightn't like it, I think, because it looked a formality a couple of months ago nearly, but this race has now become really, possibly the second most interesting race of the festival.
It is going to be a fascinating race. Couch, you talked about price all evening. Price doesn't have to mean a big price. Short prices can be tremendous value.
Again, if you get 11 to 8, a 1 to 3 shot, then back it, and I think big bucks is a 1 to 3 shot. The interesting horse in that race, no one's mentioned, is Ashkazar. Who's that trained by? David Pipe. They may have a plan here with Ashkazar to go out, slow it down. It doesn't matter to me. I just think Big Bucks is probably one of the best horse I've ever seen. I've spoken to AP, Ruby, Nicholls rode him, and they all think he's an absolute aeroplane. And when I watch videos of races, I'm always looking at how a horse finishes a race, and the 100 yards after the line. That's the neg I got about Big Zeb, the way he folded and his action went when he got beat last time and said, he went too soon. I don't think he did, but when I watch the videos, I don't know how Paul feels about it. I like to see horses finish a race. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're going on past the line, and the jockeys take time putting them up, even on the flat in that as well, and I watch the vids. One thing about Grand Crus was, when he won the race at Cheltenham, he pulled unbelievable all the way through the race. I mean, we could see Scudamore trying to bury it, and he just took off. Again, I think the racing post, I better not say it, because I might be out of a job on Monday, but every time, like Summersby, when that ran behind Masterminded, the whole racing post didn't think Summersby had improved a stone, and they didn't think of maybe Masterminded hasn't run this race to a stone. And I took the opinion that Masterminded hadn't, and I'm glad Paul in AP said on the Roger Melly that he hadn't. And then Summersby suddenly is a second coming. And it seems with Grand Crus that everybody was dying in the post. The World Hurdle was dead and buried. Oh no, here comes the saviour Grand Crus. And I just think he's too short.
There was a big risk of that, wasn't there? Because as you say the race has been saved, but we were all desperate for a contender, weren't we? We wanted to see something.
The media were. The media were.
That's what I mean. Well, you know, race fans and the media are guilty of it, and we did it with Denman and Corto Star, of course, last year. We're looking for the angle, and this is the angle. Grand Crus is
I think personally that, you know, good luck to Kieran. I like him. I hope he comes second. I think big bucks will go off odds on, and I think Grand Crus will be a big drifter. Personally.
It's going to be an absolutely key exchange horse for
that
the whole week.
2.24, that won't be there.
Last year it's very interesting. I couldn't believe last year Big Bucks went evens on track.
No,
and I was having such a bad Cheltenham that I doubled them up with Koto Star. So thinking, you know, this is like a 3-to-1 shot.
Do you know what happens again? Sorry, Johnny. You know, when the bookies had it all their own way throughout the festival, right? If they'd have had a bad festival, no way would big bucks have been. They got Bertie Big thought we've all got it in. We get big bucks beat now. We've got the absolute lot. Bookmakers are the greediest people, apart from our 3 children. I would assure you of that. Right? I don't know where they get it from. But, you know, and they got greedy with big bucks. They thought, right, and we were, you know, the whole ring, and everyone was flabbergasted. I mean, I'm good friends with Andy. I was getting phone calls. Was a leg falling off? I just said, just have more on. Just keep having more on. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a freeze-on shot who's even money. And you know, Sean, you know, elaborate, they get greedy, don't they? And that's what happened with that. And that's what happened.
It's not a freeze-on shot here, though. I mean, there's very few horses could have done what Grand Crus did the last day. It was exceptional to pull as hard as he did and win like that.
What did he beat? Knockout Rabow, 50-to-1 shot.
The horse was 1 off 1-4, right?
Yeah. No, it's. I don't think he's over. I don't think he's flattered by that too much.